You know, that's a good question. Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody out there and listener and watcher land. We have just come on live. We just asked $1 million question, which I'm certain is going to come up in the chat any second. Where is Jason?
Jared, we can't start yet. I don't have my headphones in.
Yeah, our Dr. Jack organization here, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I want to welcome everybody to our Doing It live stream, our 40th Doing It live stream. And this was a little special to us because we're going to be recording, doing a live recording of our latest Saturday Matinee Theater, which is our very last of the 1954 Sherlock Holmeses. So that is what we're going to be up to today. I know.
Sad.
I know. No one knows where Jason is, so I guess I'm going to need to send him a text or call him. Maybe I should call him live on the show. Put him on speakerphone.
Hey, people! I can't say what goes after before the O. But yeah.
I'm starting to think
Blanco.
We had a show today.
Surely he didn't. I always think, like the most likely scenario is that he was murdered by his cats. That's what I always think.
Yeah, that's probably.
I think instead of being murdered, he's being held hostage by them. And they want certain demands.
I'm texting him. I don't trust him on speakerphone when he doesn't know that he's on speakerphone.
I'm picturing a picture of Jason holding a newspaper with a date on. It's like they're telling me 5 bags of Meow Mix.
It's a fancy feat.
or I'm gonna get it.
Delvin, while you're making jokes, start jotting down names. I have a lot of stuff to give away on this episode.
Oh man, what is that? Like my job or something?
It's kind of like you inherited it somehow.
I did. Hold on, let me.
I was looking for my.
I'll
gift
go get
stack.
my writing folder.
Oh, there's the gift stack. Okay, I had it buried under some crap on my art table, but all right, I got the gift stack ready.
I'm just here for the good looks, so I'm doing my job.
We're gonna do a couple extra giveaways today since
You're doing
it's special.
it well, Pat.
I know. And doing it. I'm doing it.
Everyone post your theory of what happened to Jason in the chat. We've got poisoned himself to frame the cats. We got drank from the wrong teapot. Yeah, put your theory of what happened to Jason in the chat. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to call him, aren't I?
No, dude, you're hosting. Don't worry. I'll get to it after I write down names.
Well, I want to welcome, I'll name some names. I want to welcome Auburn Elvis. I want to welcome the Hammer Strikes, a.k.a. Gene. I want to welcome Pete Simpson, Rick Heineken, Aaron Moss from the Real American Headcast. Chola's here. Pretty sure I saw Captivating Kathy Bright. Yep, there she is. I think that's everybody. We're going to do a couple extra giveaways, especially if you like Sherlock Holmes. You're in the right place today.
Make sure you guys hit those likes on there. Right now we got 2. Punch them, punch that thumbs up.
That's right. Hit those likes, hit those subscribes. You know what? Yeah. So how many of all those names you just captured, Delvin?
I have 6 names written down so far, and I'm going to YouTube now to see if there's anyone else who I
and
did.
Chris from BTO and Bat Books, he's here.
Let it roll.
Down the highway.
So now you have 7.
I do. That is
and
correct.
I'm going to start this off with an early giveaway for the people that were here early.
Ooh, surprising.
Surprise.
Careful, Jared. Careful.
Easy. And we're going to go ahead. I'm going to give away a paperback copy of Adventures of Sherlock Holmes right off the bat for people that were here.
Oh,
sorry. By the way, I know that's me.
What did you do?
I brought up YouTube because I participate in the chat.
Oh, I didn't even hear it.
Well, only you could hear it.
Oh, okay. Right. Sweet.
Okay, Delvin. So, put your pencil in a random spot and then go from there to, let's say, number 6.
Oops.
6?
Yep.
Well, while you do that, I'm going to.
Now, you son of a.
Dice? No, that's me shaking the dice, and we're going to see whose name is chosen.
The sixth name from when I put it at random is Kathy, MVP.
All right. Captivating Kathy Bright just won the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes paperback. This is kind of a neat one. I want to say it's from like the 80s. 1980. This was published in 1980. So that will be Kathy's. And I will make a note of that. Somebody go find Jason.
You want me to call him?
He's gonna be mad that he missed this because he
probably
loved this
didn't watch
Holmes. All right, folks, we're gonna start here in a second, with or without Jason.
With or without you are.
Now it's official because I put Kathy's name on a scrap of paper and tucked it inside the cover.
Oh.
This is how I remember who to mail things to. After the shows, I'm like, who mails what? Because I can't remember. So there we go. That's one down.
I never remember to give you money until you text me.
Yeah, should we tell people how that goes?
Yeah, like he texts me, and I'm like, absolutely, Jared. Here's the money.
He's never once given me
the nope. as a human being and a person.
Never once reimbursed me without giving me crap about it. Never once. All right, I'm giving up. I'm calling Jason.
I just texted him, but
you know how
Jason is.
You know how Jason. It's got to be a phone call.
I'll get a response in 6 hours.
People get the funny thing is, people are tuning into this live show to watch a live recording Saturday Matinee Theater, and they're really getting what they pay for, all the access packages. This is what it's like. It's like, oh, we got to call Jason. Remind him we got a show.
Access.
Yeah. All the and you can do that by going to looking up Longbox Crusade on patreon.com. Not only will you get some access to the behind the scenes stuff that's going on, to a bunch of videos that we're doing, and so much more, but you're going to get all of it. We're talking how much? All of it. Yeah.
All of it. It gets obscene sometimes. Just so much access.
Yeah. So there's so much access. I don't know what to do. Sometimes I just sit there and I'm just like, I'm frozen because I don't know what, it's like a kid in a candy store. How much access can you really get?
I don't know, but we keep finding a way to
we keep
more access and
stretching that dollar out.
Speaking of, we got Heroes Con coming up.
We do got Heroes Con coming up. I'm excited. Are you?
I am. In preparation for Heroes Con, I just went with my buddy Phil and we had some soul food. Because Phil, who lives in close to Uptown area, like not even a 10-minute drive from Soul Food, had never been to Soul Food. And then the moment he took a bite into the store, we were having a conversation and he was like, oh my God. And I'm like,
yeah, that's all the access right there.
That's part of the access. In fact, it is part of the access.
Phil got all.
Oh, that's soy garlic access. Oh, man.
So, yeah. Anybody in the chat going to Heroes Con, let us know. Being Patreon members get you all the access, which means we let you know what time we're going to be at Soul Food. No Moses Magnum. What about Magnum PI? Delvin, can we meet in the middle?
I have a tropical shirt, and I can leave a couple of buttons unbuttoned.
You get Detroit Tigers ball cap, and you're good to go.
I just saw some clip from Magnum PI where he walked up these stairs, and then there's a nun from a ladder that shot at him.
Nuns don't work on Sunday. He turns around
and he shoots the nun. Like, what is going on?
Yes, that's a classic.
Off the chain.
You know what? Because Magnum's not taking none of that.
There you go. None of that. Yeah. Classic. There's a Twitter account that literally tweets nuns don't work. So that clip every Sunday. That's all they do.
Okay, I saw that. That was the one I saw. I was like, what is this?
Every Sunday they do the nuns don't work on Sunday clip.
That's funny.
Which is hilarious. Well, I tried calling Jason. He didn't answer. So we have to assume his cats have got him tied up.
Now that's what I call an emergency. Anyway, let's go on with the show.
Will do. All right, folks, get ready for the magic to happen. We're going to start recording our our live recording of
the Human Torch was denied a bank loan.
The Human Torch was denied a bank loan.
Unique New York. Unique New York.
All right. Well, folks,
are we starting?
We're going to get started.
Oh,
we got a replacement today.
Oh, boy. Surprise.
Look at this right here.
Look at this.
Oh, he's on mute.
He comes up.
Can you hear me?
There we go.
Oh, my God. Oh, wow. Wow.
So battle wagging himself.
Battle wagging himself.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, we were just about to actually click go and start talking about this last Sherlock Holmes episode.
Well, what are we going to talk about?
The last Sherlock Holmes episode.
What happens if I hadn't seen it?
Then you just chill for a little while.
Well, how's everybody doing? Let's do that. Hey, Delvin. Hey, Pat.
Hey, Dave. How are you?
Dave.
Hey, Yard Sale.
Hey, man.
Say hello to everybody in the chat, Dave.
Oh, there's people in the chat. We're on?
We're on. We're live.
Oh, God bless America. I don't read my emails very well. Hey, everybody in the chat.
I love this. This is amazing.
So the real question is, Dave, have you watched the last episode? Because I bet you did not.
The last episode of what?
Sherlock
I watched the last episode of Star Wars. I've seen the last episode of like several things. Cheers, MASH.
Starting to think you didn't watch the episode.
I did not see the last episode, sir. I knew you guys were doing this today. You had reminded me, but I have not had a chance to watch the episode. But when you sent me the link, I just couldn't resist just clocking in there for a second. I actually just got home from work, if you can't tell.
Dave, why don't you pause here? And it's
Go
only
So 26 was it 26 minutes?
20 minutes.
Not really that big of a time demand.
Exactly.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I think that's in the script somewhere. I think in the script somewhere it says, if I'm not bad mistaken, episodes are 22 minutes, so not a big demand on your time. So yeah, that's my bad for sure.
Hey, you know where Jason is?
Where's Jason?
Well, that's what we're asking you.
Oh,
Nobody seems to know.
No, I don't know where Jason is.
Oh man.
Oh my goodness. Well,
So can I see what people are chatting?
if you're on you, like if you'd have to have like YouTube up, or I don't know if there's a way you can open the chat one because it looks to me like you're on your phone. Oh, he's gone. All right, he tried to open YouTube and he bailed out. So that means he'll probably be back soon to interrupt our live recording. And there he is.
Okay.
That didn't work, did it?
Yeah, that didn't work for me. I don't know. So my big question is Kathy in the chat?
Yep.
Okay, so if she's not on here, that must mean this is not a Fast and the Furious podcast because I've not seen the last episode of Fast and the Furious.
You and I have that in common, Dave.
So I mean, has anybody on here seen the last episode of Fast and the Furious? That's a big bunch of zeros. So,
excuse me. Not going to partake in you and Kathy's battles. Oh my goodness.
She knows I love her, and it's all in jest. Maybe. I think she knows.
Well, I don't know if you see the comments on the screen or not, Dave, but we got to hush your mouth.
If that's the best she's got, I'm good.
No, she's being good in the chat.
She being good. Hush. See, where's she from? Because that should have been like a hush y'all mouth. If she was from Alabama, hush your mouth.
She's yeah. Well, Dave, we're gonna do a live recording now.
All right, so I am of no use to you. I'll watch the show.
Well, make sure, Dave, before you go, get on and hit the likes.
Yeah, make sure
at
like
least
you'll
be useful doing that, please.
Just go on YouTube and like and subscribe to this video.
I can do that.
Well, it was nice to see you, Dave. I'm sorry you didn't get a chance to watch the episode, but
it would have been
fun.
fun.
We understand.
It's nice to see you guys too. And this is my favorite show. No offense to the other shows, but I do really love it. So, and I think I love it because everybody's been on. Like, it's not just one or two. It's everybody. It's kind of a rotating thing. So I've always, that's been my favorite part of it. Is you get a little special time with everybody. That and the chance you get to see Watson throw hands. So combine all that, and then you get to see Flash rescue the beautiful girl, whichever one it is, because there's like 3 or 6, and he can't decide which one to rescue. And then we have the shark guys who just literally have the fin on their back. So lots of good stuff on. Lots of good stuff.
Well, we're going to definitely be having you back, Dave. We've planned to have you back for the first episode of Robin Hood, as we replace Holmes with Robin Hood. So please watch that episode before you join us next time.
I guess I didn't know that was a prerequisite. Because sometimes I just kind of wheel my way through these things. I mean, I know I'm so awesome that people can't tell that, but most of the time I don't watch it. I just kind of feel my way through it.
Oh my God.
Kind of guess that.
And you're a really good guesser then.
Well, is this where I say my favorite episode before I leave?
Go ahead. Tell us what your favorite episode was, and maybe Pat can even use this sound clip to edit in later.
You want to prompt him or something?
Yeah, just tell us what your overall thoughts and experiences were with Sherlock Holmes, and maybe mention your favorite episode. We'll go on mute, and we could probably use that audio in the final edit.
Okay, so my favorite episode, and good Lord Almighty, I don't remember the name, but it was the one with the blind gentleman. That was probably my absolute favorite one. I love the tone of that one. I love the way they set it up. I love that cat and mouse between Holmes and the killer there at the very end. And I also like the fact that kind of Holmes kind of was on his side. That was one of the very early ones that we did together, and I happened to be able to get on that one. But I really did that. I mean, not just because I was on that one, but that was probably my favorite episode of the whole thing. I just really like the tone of that one and how that one worked. But overall, through the Flash Gardens and through everything, and even the little side projects, it's been a great show, and you guys have done a great job, and I appreciate being a part of it.
Awesome, Dave. Thank you for that. Yeah, that was a Eugene Decker's episode, and he actually played the bad guy in that one, which is the bad guy. Like, again, Holmes wasn't necessarily against him. He was killing people, but he had his reasons.
He did. I mean, he had a very good reason. It was very 1940s John Wickish, if you think about it.
It kind of was.
It kind of was. Because I am sorry. Thank you for inviting me. I'm sorry I forgot, but I do appreciate y'all letting me dial in and act a fool for just a few minutes.
No worries. If nothing else, you bought some more time for Jason, who's still mysteriously missing.
Well, I don't live anywhere near Jason, so I can't. Yeah, much. However, if this was like 3 weeks from now, I am going to Portland. Doesn't he live close there?
Not too far, yeah.
Yeah, we're going out to Portland in a couple weeks. So I could poke him if I was there, but I'm not far close enough.
All
right, guys. So wait a minute, hold on. One more thing. I know everybody's listening. They can just wait for me. Who's coming to Heroes?
The people on the screen.
Yeah.
Well, Devin doesn't have his hand raised, but he lives right down the street, so I'm assuming Jason said he wasn't coming.
Right.
So everybody in the chat, I'm going to go try to watch. So everybody in the chat say who's going to be there so we can see everybody.
That's a good idea.
Bye, guys.
All right, later on.
Bye, guys.
All right, bye, Dave.
Bye.
I think he's gone yet.
I think he's still here.
No,
all right.
Okay.
He really is filling in for Jason, coming up with ideas that I already had.
I got to know what I think what happened to Jason is Cat got his phone.
All right, I'm gonna start this dang thing.
That was a good one, wasn't it?
Probably should. That's a good idea, Jared.
Thank you to everybody in the chat who hung in for 18 and a half minutes of all that. We will now start our live recording of the show. And I will start it in 3 and 2. Hello and welcome to episode 66 of Saturday Matinee Theater, brought to you by your friends at the Longbox Crusade. That's already cracking me up, so I'm going to have to do another take. That stupid hat got me good. All right. Actually, that was a good take. I can take it from there. Here we go. We're here in jolly old England in our recording studio that's set up at 221B Baker Street, and I'm your host, Jared Albrecht, the yard sale artist. Joining me, as always, is the Watson to my Sherlock, Pat Sampson, a.k.a. DJ Cristados. How are we feeling today, Dr. Cristados?
Well, Jared, I'm not feeling too good. I was making some tea, and I didn't know what was going on. I was making some other stuff too, but it's not, I think I used the same pot in the tea and the leaves, and well, you know what I mean. My stomach's just a little upset right now.
All right. So it was tea, maybe some extra stuff, but no heroin.
But no heroin.
Okay.
Not yet. We'll see what.
Leave it alone. This normally is the part of the show where I'd introduce my brother, but my brother's missing, so hopefully we'll figure out what happened with him before we get out of this episode. We also have with us our favorite constable, delving the dark web, Wilkins. How do you do, Bobby Wilkins?
I am doing very well, Jared. Thank you for asking. And I have an offer I don't think you can refuse.
What you got?
I will give you £1,000 to quit the podcast.
I'll take it.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
That was too easy.
You were supposed to. You weren't supposed to sell us out that quick. You're supposed to fight for us, Jared.
Oh. Anyway. Oh goodness. Yep, that's what we got going on. Okay. With that, I will hand it over to Pat, and he can give us, the very last show description for this particular brand of Saturday Night Theater.
Man.
Try to pep it up, man. I know we're all a little sad, but we'll talk about our memories a little later on in the show. We'll look back on the entire experience. But for now, let's just, let's do our usual.
All right. Well, Jared, I am glad you asked. And let me tell you, I am glad in doing this part one more time. So, Saturday Matinee Theater is a retro review, sometimes index show, brought to you by the Longbox Crusade, where we will be taking you back to the past with some potentially overlooked retro awesomeness in the realm of television, movie serials, or films. Basically, if it's vintage and it's kind of forgotten, we're going to dig it up. On this episode, we will continue our indexing of all 39 episodes of the 1954 television series Sherlock Holmes. This is the last one, boys. We hit 39 on this one. But for those of you just listening and haven't watched one before, let me tell you, 1954's Sherlock Holmes was produced by Sheldon Reynolds. It starred Ron Howard as Sherlock Holmes and H. Marion Crawford as Dr. Watson. So, take off your deerstalker cap, get cozy by a fireplace, light your pipe, and let the soothing violin music of Mr. Sherlock Holmes whisk you away into the past. Just don't get deliberately duped.
All right, deliberately duped. All right, so at this point, we'll have the sound effect play of the music, and we'll come back from that. And here we go with Commercial Retro Rewind. All right, folks, before we hand it over to Delvin for this episode's info, let's take a look, or in this case, a listen to a commercial that would have been playing at this time. Try that again. That would have been playing at the time this episode was released back in 1955. This will help us get into the right time frame of mind, if you will, and transport us back to the 1950s. For this episode's Commercial Retro Rewind, we have Revlon lipstick.
Yeah, so you want to give me a minute so I can watch the commercial?
I knew it. I knew one of you punching.
I watched the caramel one that was in the link in the video in the calendar.
I swear, don't give me no assignment.
All right, folks, I'll play it for you right here. I'll pull up you can at least hear it. Actually, I can share the screen too.
Jared, you're so useful. The greatest crusader, everyone. That's Jared.
Were we not supposed to watch the...
is a non-smear type lipstick that's making big news. It's Revlon's new Lanolite lipstick. It's the first beauty cream lipstick, especially made to soften and moisten your lips. Now, of course, if any lipstick is going to do that, it can't just stay on the surface of your lips. It has to penetrate, the way a soothing face cream does. So watch June Graham in this simple penetration test.
Thank you, Mike. Hello. You see this? Just an ordinary piece of paper, the same on both sides. And here are 3 different lipstick ingredients. First, I'll rub on some of this greasy stuff. Now, this is actually found in many lipsticks. Next, I'll rub on some lanolin. You know how good lanolin is. But now, Revlon's exclusive new Lanolite. 3 ways better than lanolin itself. This is the same ingredient that you'll find in Revlon's rich face cream. Notice I put it on last. Now let's see which one is penetrating the best. Just turn the paper around and look. It's getting dark right here because the lanolite is penetrating, moistening the paper. Well, that's pretty much the same way. It softens and moistens your lips.
Yes, Revlon's new lanolite lipstick is the only non-smear type lipstick that's a beauty cream lipstick, especially made to soften and moisten your lips. That beauty treats your lips as you wear it. So ask for and be sure you get Revlon's new lanolite lipstick.
There we go. All right. So, Revlon's lanolite lipstick, ladies and gentlemen. Delvin, your thoughts?
I'm glad that they told me about this because the lipstick I was using, whew, it was not penetrating. Let me tell you. I mean, it was just there. You know, I had the whole clown thing going, whatever. It was clashing with the beard. So now I know I need that penetrating lipstick.
That's right. We've all taken a penetration test at some point.
Speak for yourself. Sir.
I mean, Pat, what do you got?
I don't know what to say.
What about Mike Wallace? He was looking young, wasn't he?
Was it?
That was Mike Wallace from like 60 Minutes.
It was?
Yeah, he was looking pretty young there.
Yeah, didn't we have him in another one?
Yeah, he was in another commercial we did.
Okay.
Was it the Fluffo? I think it was Golden Fluffo.
Oh,
yeah. I used the Nutty Professor joke then. I will not use it now, but it's still on my mind.
I understand.
It is.
You can even
especially because we're talking about moisturizer. We're talking about moisturizing stuff. So it applies, but I won't use it.
We had moisturizer. We had penetration tests.
I think Gordon. Yeah, the Fluffo does help with the penetration. Yeah. And the moisturizing, it just my lips are just. I don't know if I'm hungry or if I'm
scared a little bit. I think Revlon's still in business to this day, though, so they've been hanging out for a while. But yeah, so they had Mike Wallace and a lovely lady doing her penetration test. You know, she had that paper out, like, cause you know, for those of you listening on the podcast version, I mean, she literally had like this paper and she'd smear the three types down just to see which one would soak through better. And Revlon soaks through the best. So, yeah. All right. One of our more bizarre commercials. Oh, goodness. With that, let's pass it to Delvin. Since we're in our 1950s mindset, he'll give us the episode info.
Okay, let me go get to that real quick. At least I have the script up. At least you know, 3/4 ready is better than half ready.
We can't find Jason. Delvin didn't watch it. Pat watched the wrong one. I guess
I did. Well, am I wrong?
Clearly, Pat.
Yeah, clearly. Caramel cluster commercial from Kraft or whatever.
Oh, was it the Kraft caramel clusters one? Because I thought I'd had that one, but the link I had in the script had died, so I had to go get a new one. So I think what probably happens is the link in the script died, but maybe I'd put it in the.
I was using the calendar. Believe it or not,
maybe I put it in the calendar later, so that there was a better. Anyway, yeah, I had to put the Revlon in about a week ago. And as soon as I pasted it in there, I was like, nobody's going to watch this.
In the script or in the...
Yeah,
in the
script. I saw it
and
just forgot. So
this is how the sausage is made, people. Anyway, back to Delvin.
All right. Episode 39, the final episode, was titled The Case of the Tyrant's Daughter. The original air date was 17 October 1955, which was about a full month since the last episode. The director was Steve Previn. The writer was Roger E. Garris, with guest stars Archie Duncan as Lestrade, Basil Dignam as Herringway, Zach Matalon as Tom Vernon, and June Peterson as Mary Duggan. As a reminder, all 39 episodes are available on YouTube. We highly encourage you watch this episode before proceeding with this podcast because not only is it just more fun that way, but Jared is about to give a synopsis about this episode, and then we're going to discuss it. There are going to be some spoilers heading your way, folks. So again, if you haven't watched this episode, we recommend you pause here. Go check it out on YouTube. Come back to join our discussion. And at only 26 minutes per episode, it's not a big time demand. For those of you who are watching along with us, we'd love to hear your insights. Don't forget to comment about the show on Twitter using the hashtag I'm following Holmes. Pat.
Hashtag I'm following Holmes.
Got to get it right. It's the last time. Jared.
Hashtag I am. Nope, that's not even right because it's not I am. It's I'm. So let me get it right. Hashtag I'm following Holmes.
Yep. 3 for 3. Hashtag I'm following Holmes for the last time, gents. And with that, let's turn it over to Jared for the episode summary.
Man, it's like a cloud of sadness.
I know.
Recordings. You know,
Power through.
I know. I just realized that after we record this, we're gonna have to take all of our equipment and get it out of 221B.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know,
moving time.
We would have had Sean to help us before, but he passed away, unfortunately, you know, before we finished. And Jason's not here. Looks like we're going to move it all ourselves. And then Delvin and I, we've got that thing after this. So, Pat, we're going to need you to move all the equipment out. Kind of like decoration.
Like Pat, I would help. I really would. But the thing, it's a really important thing.
Yeah, Delvin and I got a thing. So if you just start moving the stuff out of 221B when we get done here, we'll be back to help you when we're done with the thing.
Are you guys like putting up Christmas lights on the London square somewhere or whatever?
Yeah, sure.
What?
Anyways, let me get to the plot summary.
Maybe where's Chris walking?
He comes and goes. You never know.
I mean, he gave us that Zeppelin, so I mean, maybe that helps.
You can use the Zeppelin to move the equipment if you need to. All right, I'm going to do a plot summary before this gets out of hand. I started thinking of Chris Walken bits to do, and I was like, no, stay on target, Jared. Stay on target. All right, here we go. As Holmes and Watson bicker about poisons and teas, Mary Dugan arrives at 221B to ask for some help. It seems that someone has murdered her former employer, Mr. Herringway, and she helped the police put away Tom Vernon, the suitor of the murdered man's daughter. But Mary doesn't feel right about her testimony against Tom. The whole situation seems a bit off to her. So she asks Holmes to look in on the case. And once Holmes finds out that Lestrade's 100% certain that Tom Vernon is the culprit, he happily accepts and sets out to prove Tom's innocence. So if Tom didn't kill Herringway, who did? Mary Dugan seems unlikely since she brought the case to Holmes. Herringway's lovely daughter wouldn't kill her own father, would she? And what's the whole problem with being And that's the whole problem of being tyrannical. You got no shortage of suspects. So let's get into it, man. This was got a pretty good little plot twist at the end. I'm just going to tell people in the chat, we don't want you to leave or anything, but man, we're going to spoil this one. This is a pretty good episode, I think. But you know what? It's not up to me to think. Let's see. According to my order of, we're going to go. No, we got no guests. We got no Jason. Delvin, you get to go first, sir. High, low, or what?
I tell you what, this podcast and this podcast network is full of bits and bits and bits. But I don't think any of us are as committed to the bit as literally dying. Oh boy was like, I don't lose ever. Like, dang, son, you're a total bastard, but you're committed. So I mean, there is that. He's got that going for him, which is nice for bit committal, but literally nothing else.
He didn't like to lose.
No.
When he was like, I never lose, I'm like,
all right, you were just in case you listen to the podcast and you didn't watch the episode like we told you to. All right, I'll bottom line up front. This tyrant guy, the tyrannical dude, killed himself to make it look like his prospective son-in-law killed him, just so his prospective son-in-law would go to jail and not be able to marry his daughter. Wrap your head around that one, people.
That is some S.
So that is what Del was talking about when you're talking about ultimate committing to the bit.
But, he did have a medical issue that Watson did say probably he had a year's worth of time possibly left. So in order for him to not see his daughter run off with this, you know, the guy. Any good dad would do that.
All right.
Am I right?
Pat, have you cooked up a similar plan or something?
Like if you're about to pass away or something, can we have your toys? They do look pretty sweet. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Dibs on toys and comics. But yeah, that's a good point though, Pat. Like the guy knew he probably had less than a year to live, so why not do something grandiose, you know, with it. Anyway, Pat, it's your turn. Hit me with a high or a low for this episode.
Well, you know, we got a lot of things that happen in this episode that I think's a few of the tropes we've seen in the past, and all kind of culminated.
Culmination.
There was a culmination that was happening here. You know, like all the culmination was happening here.
Right.
You know, you had, you know, Holmes fooling around in the beginning with his chemicals there. We originally saw in the earlier episodes, so that brought back some memories for me on that one. And then just the banter back and forth between him and Watson. And then, you know what we got to see? Flashback. But they did this one in a good way, you know.
Yeah,
so
I wasn't upset at this flashback.
I wasn't upset with it. But I knew it was coming. The minute she started, I'm like, wait.
They teased it a couple of times too, almost as if they knew we were watching. Because like they did the angle, and she was kind of looking off like this, and I was like, and then she kept talking, and then they did it again, and I'm like, no, and she paused a little bit more, and then it's like, and I remember back when.
I know. I'm like, are they gonna do it? I'm like, ow. Are they going to dupe me or what? What's going on here? I'm like, all of a sudden they did it. I'm like, oh, finally. But I think it played to the story very well here. And I think maybe it's just me knowing that it's the last episode that we had to watch. So all this stuff was kind of coming together in a way that we've seen kind of build up. Not saying, I don't know if they knew this was going to be their last or not. I don't know.
I can help you out a little bit on that. Like this, a little bit. They knew they were doing 39 episodes. Now, whether or not when they recorded this one, if they knew this was it, like
which one was the last? Yeah. Okay.
They might have released them out of order because if you remember, they were coming out weekly, and then there was a month before the second to last episode, and then a month before the last episode. So I don't know about the release order, but I do know that they were picked up and approved for a second season that just never happened. And all the research I've ever done, I can't figure out why. Like they were approved for season 2 and it just never happened. So I don't know, maybe, maybe Ronald Howard left to do other stuff or like a key player like him or H. Marion Crawford, or I don't know what happened and who left, or maybe the production. I don't know, but they did get picked up for a second season, which kind of, I'll lead that into I guess it's a low, but I really kind of wish that they had known, and there's nothing I can do about this. It's still a good episode, but I wish they'd known this was it, because I think they would have put a little bit more of a bow on it for this to be the last episode. But as far as my research goes, picked up for a second season, it just never materialized. So we kind of,
that's interesting.
Yeah, it is weird.
Yeah.
So anyway, would you have a second season all up for Q online and had the actors lined up and then it just didn't do it? Especially, I don't know. I'm biased, but this was a good series.
It was, and we'll talk about this later on in the episode, folks, but, and we'll even talk about how we got to this point, but we're going to be replacing this. Our new backbone show is going to be Adventures of Robin Hood, which debuted in 1955, right as the show was going off the air. And Robin Hood went for 4 seasons. Now, I don't know if we're going to do all 4 seasons here on that. We'll probably do 1 season and then move on to something else just to keep things fresh. But yeah, Robin Hood got 4 seasons out of it. And Holmes got 1. And like I said, it said they were picked up for a second season. It just never materialized. So the only thing I can think is something happened with one of the key actors or money problems. That's all I can think. I have mentioned on episodes before that Sheldon Reynolds brought this format back in the late 70s, I think, like 78, 79, maybe 80. he had another Sherlock Holmes run.
Oh.
A lot of them were just remakes of these episodes. So I'm keen on watching those and seeing what I think.
That'd be cool.
So I don't know. I don't know if something happened with Sheldon or the cast or the crew, but just really weird that we didn't get that bow on it final episode. But I've talked enough. Let's go back to Delvin for another thought.
Let's give a kudos to the detective work, right? I liked Sherlock Holmes's detective work all the way throughout, even from the beginning where we got that lovely chemistry with Holmes and Watson, where Watson was mad and you messed up my teapot, and he storms out, and then he comes back. Wait a minute! How do you know I was going to this part? It's just because he couldn't help it, and it just that dialogue was cool. And then it was cool that Sherlock Holmes, all it took was him, A, finding out that the young man was a chemist, and then B, just chatting with him, or he didn't even chat with him. He just heard him talking for a matter of about 10 to 15 seconds. It was like, nope, he didn't do it. There's no way. And it was, did he know it? No, but did he have a very, very strong suspicion based off of the events that happened? Yes. And that was cool. It was cool that I love how this Sherlock Holmes was a lighter version of him. You know, he wasn't like, the Cumberbatch version, a little bit arrogant or whatever, or even Basil Rathbone. But like, I like this version, especially when they kind of played him as light and airy, but it's like, oh yeah, don't worry, I still got my skills. I might be a little bit light and airy, but like, I absolutely am the smartest man in the room. Let me prove it. And he proved it how a very smart person would prove it. Like, oh, I just needed like that much detail. I understand the complete picture now. That is exactly how a smart person would do it. Like, I'm assuming this, like, I'm not smart, like, but like I would figure like what the opposite of smart would be. Like, because I need all the clues, just like the access. I need all.
Yeah.
Right? All
Same here.
Like everyone laid down, put in order, then I'll get it. Him, he needs like one or two, and he has it. So that was awesome.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And I might have mentioned this on a previous episode, but I like to repeat these things on this final episode. But yeah, Ron Howard definitely wanted to take a Sherlock Holmes in his early 30s approach, where he's still got some optimism in him and not jaded by the world yet. And this is a very accessible Sherlock Holmes. The others can be more fun to watch because they're so grumpy, but I don't know. It just gives you a warm feeling inside. Like whenever him and Watson show up on the screen, you're just like, I feel comfy and cozy right now. Right, Pat?
I want to kind of play off of what Delvin was saying, though. There is some arrogance about him when he's playing against Lestrade.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, man, I was laughing. And just watching him, the writing for Holmes to kind of just, manipulate Lestrade to go, so let him see the prisoner. Lestrade just kind of turns around and Holmes makes it seem like it's Lestrade's idea to, and just he gives in and all that. So I like that. It played out pretty well.
I'll play Jason's role here because Jason always likes sticking up for Lestrade. And here's a stick up for Lestrade. Like if you're Lestrade and you are, let's say, the very stereotypical cop, you can't tell me what to do, don't tell me what to do my job. He could have kicked out Sherlock Holmes at the door. Get out. You're not a police officer. We've got our dude. The case is solved. Go away. And he didn't. He knew what Holmes was there as soon as Holmes stated his attention. And so you have to get the feeling that maybe Lestrade's in on the joke just a little bit. Like, even though it's like, yeah, I definitely know it. We did the police work. The guy that we have in our custody, it makes sense to have him. But I will put aside my pride just a little bit and let this man do his work. And maybe just maybe we've got the wrong guy. So it does take a little bit of, what's a good word for it? Like, to say, hey, I'm not like, even though this is my job and you're not a police officer, I might still be wrong. Humility. He has some humility enough to do that.
See, I don't think he's doing it. I think he's doing it the opposite way, where he's trying to prove Holmes wrong. and go, okay, I'll let you go talk to him. See, here's the facts that I saw that he did it. We got him. He's a chemist, blah, blah, blah. And so he's trying to prove to Holmes that he is the more smarter one because, he's the detective. He's the law where Holmes isn't. That's my take on him.
I've noticed too that Holmes, like you were saying originally, kick off this whole conversation, Pat, Holmes kind of being a jerk to Lestrade. He only really does it when Lestrade is certain.
Yeah.
Like they're both trying to teach him, like, okay, never be certain, dude. But I also will be like Delvin, who was being like Jason and play defense for Lestrade, because you also have to imagine Lestrade's probably working 200 cases at any given moment. So yes, he's trying to process them with the simplest solutions and get them off his desk. Yeah. And Holmes gets the luxury of being able to focus on one interesting case. Mm-hmm. So,
I see it from both sides. Yeah. I do see it from both sides. It's fun. Fun chemistry between the two. That's what makes it really interesting, is you got that fun chemistry.
Perfect. Yes. I'll toss in a high here at the end of round 2. I'd seen these before, right? And I'll talk about that a little later on as we say our farewells. I'd seen all these before. I didn't remember what the solution to this mystery was. So, usually I get to about the halfway point and I go, oh, I was like scratching my head like, this was a good mystery, because I was like, who the hell killed this guy?
Yeah, I know.
And I started thinking, was it Mrs. Dugan? Well, why would she take the case to Holmes then?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It was a good mystery.
In the beginning, I started thinking, okay, it's the daughter, because like she was never there, but maybe she did something like poison him in some other way, because she wanted to be with the guy. And she knew that her dad wasn't going to let that happen. So I thought maybe that the daughter did it.
Yeah, a lot of viable suspects. What I'm loving about now doing this live is in the chat, people are just going back and forth about different versions of Holmes and Watson and why they like each one. There's a lot of great positivity going on there about Holmes and Watson combos, and I'm loving it. I am loving it. So I guess that's the end of our official highs and lows rounds. Now, Pat.
Yes.
Do your thing.
Well, I think we talked a lot about some stuff, but let me just go over a few things. A few things that I have on my notes. What medicine can you drink that all of a sudden you're feeling better already? Well, I didn't understand that. Whatever, he brought it in the green bottle.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Maybe. But that was quick. I'm like,
I actually don't know if you can drink heroin or not. I don't know enough about drugs.
I can neither confirm or deny.
Know. You always see that in the movies of like guy with a heart condition, like he takes his pills and he starts to feel better. Like I always wondered, what's that fast?
Really? Come on. It takes me like at least 15, 20 minutes before it kicks in.
Yeah, fast acting is normally 15, 20 minutes. But, that said, no one wants to wait 15 or 20 minutes and you're just sitting there staring at the screen like.
On this episode of Sherlock Holmes, they're just looking at him. Okay, he's feeling better. What else, Pat? I see you looking at that list.
Yeah, I'm looking down at my list. I kind of covered a lot of everything. The other, going back to the Lestrade and Holmes thing, I liked the last thing that Holmes had said as they were kind of leaving Lestrade's office, and he kind of gets the final jab into Lestrade by saying, well, not as innocent as you are.
Oh, yeah. That's right. He's as innocent as you, me. Well, maybe not as innocent
as you. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, ooh, that's one of those slight digs where like you hear it and you're like, ha ha ha, and later, wait a minute.
That's not so fast acting. Stupid. 20 minutes later, I'd be like, oh, whoa.
You know what? I'm gonna throw it on this. I'm pull a Pat too, because I kind of like the way that there's a little bit of Holmes comeuppance, because didn't he get sick from drinking out of the wrong teapot at the end of the episode?
Sure did.
He's like, I drank from the wrong one, which still had like a minute bit of poison. And like he looked basically poisoned himself. That was nice. Very good. Very good. Delvin, you got anything else as I see Pat looking over his list?
I think we covered it. Like I'm good with what I brought up. I'm good with the discussion that we had.
Yeah, it was a good one. A lot of lively discussion. Like I said, a lot of cool stuff going on in the chat for this live episode as well. All right, I'm going to be a little brief with fun facts today, and we're going to shuffle some stuff at the end of the episode because we've got some farewells to do and some voicemail send-ins to listen to and all that jazz. So let me just get into fun facts real quick. And I've covered 39 different fun facts. Now I'm kind of running out.
A lot of fun facts, my friend. That's a lot of fun facts.
But I found a neat little blurb that kind of gives us a good sense of how this show was. Like, we're looking back on it now, what, 50, 70 years? Something like that, like 70 years on. I found a little blurb of people talking about it when it was new, like blurbs from the 50s. So I figured I'd share that with everybody. When the series debuted, it was indeed a hit. I'll get this right. A publication called This Week declared, quote, "You won't want to miss this 4-star video event," end quote. Variety reviewed the series on October 20th, 1954, and called the show a winner that avoids the customary cliches that seem inevitable in treatment of Conan Doyle's stories. The series was voted Best New Mystery in the non-network film series division in Billboard's 3rd annual TV Film Program and Talent Awards, based on an all-industry vote. So people liked it in the 50s, and we're digging it now. So pretty cool.
Word.
With that, let's get to the pipe ratings. Pat, we'll let you go first this time. On a scale of 1 to 5, 5 means you loved it, 4 means it was very good, 3 means it was good, and 2 was just okay, and 1, I didn't like it. How did the series end for you, sir?
Well, Jarrett, in the risk of having no extra pipes left over, you know me, I like cleaning up after the pipes and putting things away for special reasons that just for myself.
We know the reason.
Yeah, and this being the last time, we'll all be sitting around here smoking that. Oh, wait a minute. Jason might have some extra pipes left, huh?
That's something to think about.
Okay. Ooh, okay. But anyway, I'm going to give this 5. I think it's a little above, I'm giving it the bump up because of the heartfelt that, we've seen all 39 episodes and, we've gone through them. And I think I just really enjoyed it. And like I said in the beginning, the culmination, yes, of all that we've seen come together was just really well done here. And it wasn't overly used where in some of the other episodes it had been. So I'm giving it a 5. I'm all in.
Love it. Delvin.
I will match Pat's 5 with my own 5. Like, absolutely a little bit of nostalgia in play, but without that, if this were just, say, episode 18 out of 39, it would have been a 4-piper because it was a very good mystery. It was a very good twist at the end, and it was a good organic twist that you can believe because that dude was like, no one liked that dude. He was absolutely had a membership in the Haters Club. And so it was a good mystery. Sherlock Holmes used his intelligence and wit to solve it. Good interplay between him and Watson. Like, the only thing that would have docked it from being a 5 in normal cases is that there are about 3 or 4 cops there, and none of them were named Wilkins, and that is Bravo Sierra. Bravo Sierra, Jared. It is.
Yes,
and
I concur.
I'm not happy.
I know. I was hoping.
Why was Wilkins busy? How come he wasn't there? Why was there no Wilkins?
It would have made it perfect.
It would have been a 5 without it. Still gets a 5, but it would have been a 6. It would have been a 7. I would have taken pipes from somewhere else and used them. But as is, it's a 5.
And I'm gonna have to ask all 3 of us to get up now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will make you get down.
Down.
Yeah, this was it was already a strong 4 for me, and then like you said, you put in that it's the last episode and it felt good and it felt right. Yeah, it's a 5. It's a 5. Great episode, really good mystery. Again, you have a good chance you're going to get a 5 from me if we're in the last 10 minutes and I'm still like, who killed this guy? Like I'm not sure.
Well, I figured once I kind of went through everything and I was going through who was doing it, then I'm like, okay, this guy did it himself then. But how did he do it? That was the more of the mystery. of how he did it. You know,
You were ahead of me, my friend, because I had forgotten that he'd done himself in. Oh, goodness. All right, before we move on to the mailbag, Delvin, how you doing at keeping up with them names?
Doing pretty good. People, y'all can let me know if I forgot anyone. We got an active audience, and y'all, thank you again so much. That's awesome. We appreciate y'all spending your time with us on a Sunday. I got Angelica, Auburn Elvis, MVP, Kathy, Rick, Gene, Aaron Ed Moss, Chris ABTO, Courtney, Tony Pennington, and I added Dave Collins as well. Did I forget somebody? Am I forgetting someone, y'all?
Got Courtney, got Aaron, Auburn Elvis, Kathy, Chola. Did you say Chola?
I did, Angelica. Yep.
Kathy, Tony. Yeah, looks like you got about everybody. So how many is that in total right now?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
All right, random spot.
Oh,
Pat.
you forgot Pete's in the chat too.
Yeah. Pete can't win the books. Pat, pick a number between 1 and 10 for Delvin to do the magic spot move from.
9.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That would be Courtney Holland.
Courtney, ooh, you have just won a copy of The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes in paperback.
Ooh.
Thank you for being here today.
Side profile.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Now they look like they're looking at each other. Thank you for being here today as part of the crew. We still have one more giveaway for people in the chat left and one more giveaway for Crusaders Club members. Like I said, we went a little all out this episode because we wanted to do a big Sherlock Holmes closeout. Looking good, Pat. All right. Now bring us back to the show.
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to bring us
back.
You
know what? I kind of look like Sean Connery in Last Crusade. We named the dog Indiana.
I'm going to get back to the show now.
Actually, that wasn't a bad Sean Connery.
It was your best one so far.
It was. I mean, come on. We got to give our roses to people while they're still alive, Jared.
That's right.
Go for it, man. I'm going on mute.
All right. Back to the show. Excuse me. Got me good. All right, folks, we're going to get into the 221B mailbag. It's going to be a little bit limited this time because we got a lot of audio send-ins we're going to listen to. But as always, we are thrilled to kick off these comments with special shout-outs to our Crusaders Club members. These are the fine folks who have joined our crusade. They enjoy early access to special Longbox episodes, voting on show content, raffle prizes, and so much more. These are the folks These are the folks reaping the benefits and giving some much appreciated support to the show. Pat, we'll start with you, working a little left to right today.
All right, I'll start us off. And Angelica Wolf.
Oh, in the chat.
Auburn Elvis, also in the chat.
Bill Beer, missing from the chat.
Blast it or stash it. Not in the chat.
Braxton Underwood.
Okay. This is killing the bit. I got it. Okay.
I tried. You wouldn't let me.
If we're going to kill the bit, it would be best to do it with Captain Entropy since it just kind of faded out. Anyway, here we go. Captain Entropy.
Clinton Robinson.
Dave Collins, the sometimes appearing Battle Wagon.
Gary V.
Gerald Green.
Jason King.
Jeremy L.
It's my time, boys. Woo-hoo, here we go. Jim Jarman. I hope you like Jim Jarman too.
Yeah. Joe Thomas.
John Watson, appropriately named.
Josh Strickland. That's Slacker. He's not in the chat.
Candace Ward.
Kathy Bright. She's captivating. She's an MVP, and she's in the chat.
And in a triple threat.
Mark Ross.
The monstrous Mark Hatherley. He's not in the chat, but he's probably drawn for Jared's comic, so we'll give him a pass.
Looking good too. I'll send you some of his work, Delvin, so you can see it. Just for the record, if you hadn't given me anything on that email, I was going to literally print one out and mail it to you in the physical mail. I was like, I will make Delvin laugh at this bit one way or another. Anyway, nobody knows what we're talking about, so let me get back to it. Maxwell Traver.
Miranda W.
P.D. Devins.
Paul Hicks.
Rick from Jeff and Rick Present in the chat.
Rob Morgan.
Ross Michaud.
Ryan Daly.
Samantha Maney.
Sean Urbanski.
Spidey 67.
Steve Cronin.
Tim Price.
Tony Pennington in the chat.
Last but not least, Toronto Cop.
If we miss anyone on the list, of course, we apologize. Just remember, we record these well in advance of release, so if you're a recent edition, we'll add you soon. You can always let us know that we missed you by emailing contact@longboxcrusade.com. If you want to know, hey, how can I become a Crusaders Club member? Well, if you're watching the video version, it's on the bottom of your screen. If you're just listening, just go to patreon.com/longboxcrusade. For as little as $1 a month, you get access to the amazing world of the Crusaders Club. Come check it out. If you don't have that extra scratch laying around, but you still want to help us out, maybe write a review for our show. Be it on Apple Podcasts or Google Podcast Play or Apple Play Podcast, they always change the names. All right, wherever you're listening to it, if you give us a review, we'd really appreciate it. All right. We are now getting into our share, like, and retweet section, which this episode we're going to replace with voicemail send-ins. We have 6 voicemail send-ins from folks who, I know, right? Who've been on the show before. And we will do the old give it a listen, make our comments. I've listened to all of them. Some of them are very heartfelt and wonderful. Some of them are very entertaining. Some of them are a combination of both. So let's get into that. Just give me a second to pull that up. All right, our first send-in is, he was in the chat a little while ago. Not sure if he's still around, but Chris from BTO at Bat Books. Let's give it a listen. It's thinking, it's spinning, it's spinning.
I don't recall exactly how I was asked to join the esteemed company of fellow armchair detectives Pat, Jared, Delvin, and Jason. It still seems like a fantastic dream. One moment I have my earbuds in, and I'm listening to the excellent Saturday Matinee Theater podcast about the 50s TV Sherlock Holmes, where I hope to one day perhaps be a guest, when I felt a sudden presence behind me. The next thing I was aware of was being in a horse-drawn carriage along a cobblestone street and finding myself just outside 221B Baker Street and hearing violin music just behind the door. Once inside, I joined my podcast heroes and idols in the library and study to watch, rate, and try to solve the case of the night train riddle with one of my all-time favorite fictional characters, Sherlock Holmes. The TV show had its charm and was fun to watch, as something from its time and comparing it to other depictions of the legendary character. The company of my fellow sleuths was beyond what I hoped for, from laughter to insights to laughter again, as we compared notes and doled out our respective pipes to rate the mystery and the acting nuances, as the room filled with pipe smoke and into a cloudy gray haze. After a spot of tea, I then found myself back to where I was, wondering if this was all just a fantastic and impossible dream, but seeing the words #I'm following Holmes etched on my arm, and offering my thanks to the gang at the Longbox Crusade, wherever they are.
That was Chris at BTO at Bat Books. Thanks for sending that in, Chris. Boys, what do you think? Delvin, you look like you got something to say.
I do. And it's like, hey, like he wound up just waking up like that. So, we got Mary Jane in the house. He's lucky he didn't wind up with something else.
Did you guys hear it?
Yes.
All right.
I heard it too. It's feedback.
It's feedback.
Hang on. Let me close this loop. I didn't hear it on my end, but it's probably that open channel. Okay.
All right. For the sake of, I will say my joke again and pretend that it's even funnier than it was the first time.
I'll give it a solid laugh.
Sweet. All right. Yeah. I mean, we got Mary Jane in the house, so Chris is lucky he didn't wind up with something else.
He was on that episode. He mentioned the night train. I think he really loved that stuff. It's a Guns N' Roses reference.
I didn't get it. But when he did mention the night train, the first thing I thought it was Delvin's theory of either you're on the train or you're off the train.
Yeah, that one too. Yeah.
It's only two choices.
Two things for Holmes to figure out. It was either there. Remember that too? They were like looking all around. This is probably where the train stopped. And then they found like the kid's hat laying plain as day out on their third look through the tracks. Like what? Oh, memories.
Oh yeah, it's so good to have that. To hear just the fond memories that Chris had and joining us. And thanks again, Chris, for all the support you've given us. I mean, 39 episodes and then some. This is 65. Thanks for being there, Chris.
Yeah, 39 just Holmes's. Appreciate it. Let's check in with our old pal Gene Hendricks and see what he has to say. Now I just have to remember to unmute the channel and then remute it after I.
We'll say something.
LBC crew, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to watch all of the 1954 Ron Howard Sherlock Holmes series and comment. What? What do you mean they've already done it? And I was, yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot I was on episode. Hey guys, Gene the podcast machine here, wishing you a very happy end to a crusade, and that would be watching all of Ron Howard Sherlock Holmes. They were very interesting to watch along with you and to comment on the one that I was involved with. Thank you very much for including me. I always like seeing new takes on Holmes, and your commentaries definitely made it that much more interesting to watch and to listen along with. So, okay, now we'll get back to the topic at hand. LBC crew, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is watch all the 1955 Adventures of Robin Hood TV series. And we will be seeing you in Sherwood Forest. This truck in 30 seconds.
Yes. Thank you, Gene. Bits. Pat, what do you think?
Well, Gene, you sure would see us in the
Delvin,
forest.
What do you
We got about 15 seconds before we need to put this in an explosive safe container. So thank you very much, Gene, for that awesome comment.
Yes,
definitely, Gene. Thank you.
Yes, and for being part of it and for pioneering our other Sherlock Holmes show with Jeremy Brett. Like, you've contributed a lot, and we do appreciate the heck out of you, buddy. All right, next up, one of our favorite two professors. It is Professor Allen. Let's give him a listen.
Hello, Baker Street boys. Professor Allen here. You may know me from such shows as the Quarterbin Podcast, Doomspeak, Darkness to Light, and Saturday Matinee Theater. Congratulations on making it through all 39 episodes of Sherlock Holmes. Excellent work. And on a personal note, I also want to thank you for giving me and Mrs. Quarterbin a fun show to watch together. Both of us thoroughly enjoyed the goofiness, the drama, and even some of the mysteries. We agree that this version, this take, gave us a good Holmes and a great Watson. And she also joined me in listening to some of your podcast review episodes as well. It helps that she has met the majority of you hosts and even likes the majority of you that she's met. Keep up the good work. Looking forward to whatever retro review awesomeness is coming next.
Yeah, Professor Allen. It reminds me of that scene in the Ghostbusters Part 2 where they re-meet the mayor and say, almost 50% of us voted for you in this last election.
Yeah, he's like, she likes the majority. He's like, it's 4 of us. So the majority is 3. So there was 1 of us.
Me.
It's like,
it had to be
that such and such is a beep, piece of beep. I would kick him in the beep, beep.
Oh, Professor Allen. I like that he includes us in his resume of podcasts too.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yes.
Which everybody should. Yeah.
We had a question that popped up from Auburn Elvis, which I already figured the answer was obvious. Of what would the Baker Street Boys' next album be titled? Smooth Opinion.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
all right.
Call back.
Oh, bits. Oh, bits.
I call it LBC Got Bits.
Oh, but yeah, Professor Allen, awesome. Thanks for being part of the show. And we appreciate the heck out of you. And for those of you watching and those of you listening, we have a little bonus surprise for you. We found him. Nope, we lost him. Nope, we found him. There he is. The Weasel Skull has made it to the show.
What time are we starting again?
We have 3 more audio send-ins to listen to, Jason. And then we're going to do the wrap. But that's good because your part of the script is about to come up. So
Oh, crap. I guess I better get the script up.
Couldn't be better. After we do these, finish these voicemail send-ins, we're going to need your part of the script. We've just been listening to some great ones. We just listened to a voicemail from Chris at BTO Bat Books. We just listened to Gene Hendricks. We just listened to Professor Allen, who told us that his wife enjoys the majority of the Longbox Crusade crew. So we're not sure. I'm pretty sure it's me that she doesn't enjoy. But you know what, though? I did want to say this about Professor Allen's, because I noticed, like, out of all of our listeners and friends and all that, and you guys are great, Professor Allen was the one that was sort of consistently sort of commenting about he and his wife watching the show together, because they were like really using our show as a through point. And I that's what this was always designed to do, was like get people to watch and then listen with us. And that's a lot of fun. And I'm really glad that he and his wife could do that. I have a couple
point, Jared.
Yes. I have a couple podcasts that actually have one podcast that I've done that with, that has been an episode by episode show thing. So I watch, and it just makes watching the show so much more fun when you watch it and then you get to hear this conversation about it. So I'm really glad that he took advantage of that. And I want to welcome Ryan Daly to the chat. All right. Having said all that, hi, Ryan. Having said all that, let's get to our next send in. It is from one of our favorite professors.
Oh, yes.
Top 2. We got
top 2 professors. You know, 2 out of the top 2 professors, they do, when they're not listening to our podcasts, they are, you know, they prefer camels.
Whoo, Pat.
All right. Let's
you'll get everybody will get that joke next week, next Saturday. Be on the lookout for that.
Wink. All right, let's get and listen to Professor Frenzy's send in.
It's a show.
April 10th, 2018, 12:39 p.m. I got a message from Longbox Central asking me if I wanted to be a guest on a Holmes episode of Saturday Matinee Theater. I said sure, and wondered what a Holmes episode was. Boy, did I find out. This Sherlock Holmes British TV show totally blindsided me. The boys at the Crusade assigned me episode 4, The Case of the Texas Cowgirl. It was good. Real good. May 5th, the Saturday Matinee episode was released. I was happy with it. Just a bunch of guys jawing about a show we all enjoyed. I sensed a pattern. All the episodes of this Holmes show were good. Real good. I wondered what it meant. Maybe I'll never know. Maybe I'm not supposed to. Thanks, guys, for a great run.
How can you not love that? Jason just joined us. We'll give him the first word.
It was boozy. Real boozy. I liked it.
You can always count on the professor, man, to bring that production value. How fun was that? That was great.
It was
that
good.
was great. I felt like a dame was gonna walk through my front door at any second. And a shot rang out. Bang!
It's a dark and stormy night.
I also am pretty sure that he did the research and actually looked up the times and dates of when we messaged him and when the show aired, because I think those were all correct, by the way.
Very cool. Very cool.
I didn't remember.
That was incredible.
I wasn't even on Saturday Matinee Theater at the time.
Oh man, that was.
I think I came on SMT5.
Yeah, I think Cowgirl was in the first four. She was on that said Sherlock. Remember Sherlock?
Yeah, Sherlock.
Yep, I went there for that. That's cool.
Oh man, Delvin, what you missed the most on that episode was one of Wilkins's more brilliant ones. That's where they found out that Wilkins could speak Blackfoot.
Yeah. Yeah.
For some reason, like he just knew
he and that Native American were like sitting around smoking
pipes together.
That's awesome.
It was definitely
shame I missed it. I have 2 black feet.
And with that, let's go. I gotta get them together again. Hang on.
It's always good if I make Jared lose it.
Take a pause.
I was thinking about like, wait a minute. Oh,
okay. Now that I got it back together, let's get another send in going with this one. Try that again. Let's get another send in going. This one is from Ruth and Darren. They might be new listeners. I think they're new. I don't think I've heard of them before. I'm kidding.
We also think they're spies.
Yes, I'm kidding. They are very good friends, Ruth and Darren.
I'm still waiting for their show about Star Trek to come out.
Yeah, that show never comes out. Anyway, let's give Ruth and Darren a listen.
Hi, I'm Ruth.
And I'm Darren from the Red Adventures Network.
We love the Longbox Crusade, and we love Sherlock Holmes.
So putting the two together in the Sherlock Holmes Saturday Matinee Theater was simply brilliant.
We want to thank you for these podcasts. It was a treat to revisit the series while in the company of friends.
We like Sherlock Holmes stories and all of the many incarnations of the character, and the cast for this particular series was always fun, and we enjoyed getting to know what you all thought of the characters and performances.
And we thought the pipe rating scale was fun. We'd try to guess how people would rate the episodes as we watched the shows along with you.
We enjoyed listening to all of the conversations and debates with you and your guests, and we were fortunate to join in for a few of those discussions as guests ourselves.
We felt very welcomed and appreciated on the show and really enjoyed the laughs. There is such good camaraderie and good laughs among the Longbox Crusade members that we know everyone had fun listening.
Thank you, Pat, Delvin, Jared, and Jason for this excellent series.
Come on, Darren. We have to go. The game's afoot.
Spies. The Italian spies.
Oh, Ruth and Darren. Always so earnest and lovable. Thank you for sending that in, Darren. Ruth. And can't help but notice everybody talks about they have good laughs on the show. That makes me happy.
Yeah. It's always good, to have them just come on and relax with us and have fun. That's one of the favorite parts of of being on the show is all the guests that we had on joining us, the fun we have.
Over in the chat, Courtney Holland says Jared needs a new computer. So patreon.com/Longbox Crusade. I know it takes a few seconds to get the transitions in, but at least they're working today. So I'm glad our audio is working. And I'm glad that we got Ruth and Darren send in. They're so awesome. Which means we have just one left to go. It is Diane Ryan Daly's send in. So let's give Ryan's a listen.
Hello to my friends at the LBC 221B crew. This is Ryan Daly from the Fire and Water Podcast Network. Congratulations on wrapping up your coverage of the 1954 Sherlock Holmes series. These Saturday matinee theater adventures have been a delightful romp through some old-timey television shows that don't get discussed much today. Your genuine affection for Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson and their world of mysteries and madmen made every episode of the podcast a treat for the listeners' ears. I also want to thank you for inviting me on the show to discuss a couple of episodes. I had a wonderful time. And now that you're done covering Sherlock Holmes, however, I would like to put in a special request. For your next Saturday matinee theater, you should cover the 1930s Flash Gordon serial. I would love to hear what you think about that one, especially the women on the show. One more time, guys, congratulations on finishing 1954's Sherlock Holmes. Cheerio.
It's a good idea, right? We'll see if we can't squeeze some Flash Gordon content in here somewhere. That was hilarious. That was classic Ryan.
Yeah, classic Ryan.
It's been a minute since I've heard from good old Ryan Daly. It's good to hear from him.
It is good to hear from him. And speaking of the women of Flash Gordon, they are exceptional, by the way.
Yeah. Hubba.
Plus. It's a fun reminder, actually no fun at all reminder to our listeners that was the show where the censor stepped in for the second season of the Flash Gordon and made the women wear
clothes,
more clothing than they did in the first season. Like the censors hadn't noticed in the first season, like how very attractive the ladies were. But then they got a hold of it. And we're like, oh, you can't have them showing that much skin. And Delvin,
boo.
There you go. Oh man. Those are all of our send-ins. Thank you, Chris, Gene, Professor Allen, Professor Frenzy, Ruth, and Darren, and Ryan for being a part of this journey with us, for doing those send-ins. Those are all so freaking good. That was amazing. You guys can talk them up while I pull up the next part of the show.
Well, we've had some pretty good dialogue.
Yeah.
Jason. Hey, Jason, some of the listening and watching audience, they wanted to know, where were you? Where, they wanted to know about I said you had a very important thing, but feel free, to share or just make up a story completely. They don't know it's true.
I told you that I was off shift and I was going to go get my pint before dinner. Just get my pint before dinner. That's what I was doing.
Sometimes you gotta get a pint before dinner.
Yeah, sometimes a pint turns into a quart, turns into a liter. I mean, what can you do?
I noticed when that person turned up dead and he was blowing on that whistle, his buddy didn't come running back.
It wasn't that far away, too.
Told you I was getting the pint before dinner.
Jason brings up something interesting. I guess we can talk a little bit about the show because we didn't talk about that at all in the highs and lows. Was the very beginning where like the cops like spotted the dead body? I guess
no Wilkins.
Yeah, we talked about it. Oh, we talked about that, but yeah, like I thought that was a weird beginning. Like if you take the beginning and just do away with it, the episode still makes complete sense.
Yeah, that's true.
Probably needed just a bit of filters. Like, how long is this show? It's 17 minutes, 48 seconds. Oh crap, we gotta get 20.
Get the cop outfits, Gary and Bob over here. We're gonna take care of this. Oh, all right. Well, folks, again, thank you for all those send-ins. We're gonna wrap this up with sort of a look back over these last 39 Sherlock Holmes episodes. Kind of give everybody a chance to get a little bit wistful if you want, or upbeat, however you want to play it. But I have this question here, and it says, what are some lasting memories around this journey through 1954's Sherlock Holmes? And Delvin gets the unenviable task of going first.
Probably the biggest has to be the continuing rapport between Holmes and Watson. It was fantastic. Like, I mean, it became one of those where it was just one of those creature comforts. As soon as you watched that, like, even if it were an episode that we rated, like, I don't think I rated any episode of 2, but like, so like, 3 episode, one that was maybe a little bit dragging, the chemistry between those two was always there. And that was appreciated. And then you add Lestrade to it, and that was cool too. So it really was those 3. That was cool. Eugene Deckers was a delight. I had never known him as an actor before. I actually called him by his real Christian name and not Harry Crocker, which is his real Christian name. But I love every episode he was in was fantastic. Then in the show itself, like a humorous show often does, it takes you on a pretty good emotional ride from like sometimes they just like actual really good suspense to sometimes it was just outright hilarious. So sometimes it was a little bit goofy and sometimes it hit the mark, and sometimes it didn't, but it was always entertaining. So that's what I'm taking away from the show. I'm glad that I came on, not even super late, but just a little bit later in the game than y'all did. And you and Pat had a good idea from the start. And I'm glad that y'all had convinced me to come along for the ride. It was really fun.
I love hearing that. I'm glad you enjoyed the journey there, Delvin. Jason, final thoughts looking back on 54 Sherlock Holmes.
To me, the most memorable thing about it, and Delvin, just to pick up where Delvin left off, is as far as our Longbox Crusade network goes, I think this is kind of where we really solidified as a network. And Delvin coming aboard was probably the most memorable thing for me, because when you pitched the idea of the show, I mean, I was lukewarm, I think, about it. I like Sherlock Holmes, but I was like, are people going to listen to a 1954 serial? Does anybody other than Pat and Jared me really like this?
Looking at our download numbers, I think the answer is no.
Yeah. Well, Delvin was a definite no. And that's kind of my point. Delvin's like, yeah, it's not really my thing. But after a while, he dipped his toe into it and then came aboard fully. And really, his enthusiasm as he picked it up, I think that really gelled us as a show and as a network. And I was really glad when he came aboard fully at that point. And to me, the show was fun. It was just fun. Some of the Sherlock Holmes kind of runs they have unique flavors. And some can be very dark. And this one kind of had that fun comedy element mixed with some dark material that just, I don't know, had a really good balance. And so it was just kind of a combination of having the right show, and then Delvin stepping aboard. And I think that's really where Longbox Crusade, in my mind, as a network, really kind of took off. And so for that's the most memorable and appreciative thing that I have for this show. So
nice take, man. Nice take. Yeah, I think Jason makes a great point. I think we all have sort of these things that we love that overlap. And Jason and I have a Sherlock Holmes love that overlaps. And, Pat and I have snacks. And but no, we all have these things that overlap. And like Jason said, this was kind of a very niche thing where, maybe Pat and maybe even more so Delvin didn't really know if they'd love it, but they tried it and it did bring us all together and just, yeah, good point, Jason. Good point.
Definitely
brought us all together. Pat?
Well, like Delvin said a lot, Jason said a lot about it. As Jason was talking about it, I'm thinking back to this Saturday Matinee Theater is the third episode is the third show that we brought onto the network. After we started doing Chronicles, and then Saturday Matinee Theater came up. In the beginning, it was that kind of trepidatiousness of watching these shows. And then just to see where it has grown, I can't believe we're at the end of Holmes, where this was the main flagship at the beginning, was we're just going to do some Holmes and go from there. And then to see, once we started getting close to 10, we're like, well, let's add in, every 10, let's do a movie. And then we're all like, well, let's do another, a different show. And that way we can do, back and forth. And just to see it grow, and then the community of listeners that listen to us, and thank you very much, everybody. We really do appreciate it. It means so much to us that not only I would look forward to getting together and watching it and talking about it with you guys, but also the community and having guests on and getting their take on it. And just, again, sitting around with us, having fun. That's what this whole network is all about. It's all about let's just have some fun. And the stuff going on in the world is going on, but we're here to bring that light and that spread that happiness, put a smile on somebody's faces. And we have, and not only in me, but and the guests that have been on and gave us the voice send-ins and all that, you can just hear it. And it really means a lot to me to do that. So I'm looking forward to the next thing. We've already done Flash. We're in the Batman. We're only a few more to go on that. And it's just so much fun. Looking forward.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you guys out there in listener land on Twitter and on Patreon, especially, you know, like we said, you get to vote on show content. So it's you guys who voted on Flash Gordon when we decided to add a serial, and then it was you guys who voted on Batman 40s for the next serial. Like this is you guys out there voting. Just a quick peek behind the curtain on how that works, and we've made it public, but it's easy to miss it. Basically, we put a poll on Twitter and we put a poll on Patreon, and Patreon supporters are special because they're Patreon supporters. So that's weighted. 50% of the vote is Patreon. So even though there's only maybe a handful of people voting, the vote is much stronger.
So that's like the Senate.
Yeah, exactly.
That's part of all the access.
That's part of all the access. And then the Twitter vote is the other 50%, like the Congress is Jason's house. The House, yes, as Jason was equating. So anyway, that's how that works. And yeah, you guys have taken us on this journey, and it's been a blast. My final thoughts on this is almost going to turn this into a nostalgia talk episode. I can remember, I guess 4 years ago, going down to spend a weekend with the Fire and Water Network's host, Shag, the Deal Shag. Spend a weekend with him and his family, do a little Goodwill shopping down in the Tallahassee area. And we went to the Tallahassee Goodwill bookstore, and that is where I found the DVD set of 39 episodes of Sherlock Holmes, 1954.
Delvin got it.
Yeah. And I took those episodes home, ripped them in my Plex server. Thought, let me give these a try. I'd never really heard of them. You know, I know a lot about Sherlock Holmes. I watched a lot of different versions, but hadn't heard of these. Gave it a try. Started watching them one every night. And, you know, about 39 days later, I watched them all. And I was like, these are really good. And that's kind of when I brought to Pat. I was like, this was a really good show. And again, there was trepidation. Like old TV shows, you know, should we do a podcast around? I was like, man, they're fun. Let's give it a shot. You know, it's a lot of podcasts out there, especially at the time we're covering, you know, modern shows and maybe even some from highly remembered from the 80s or whatever. But I was like, we should do a podcast around forgotten shows that don't get any limelight. And the guys just supported it and came on board. And then the listeners got in on it, and the guests, and it all just started at that little Goodwill bookstore where I spent probably $1.99 on the 39 episode DVD set. And here we are. So that's how I look back on it. All the great guests after that, and all the laughs we had, all the in jokes that came from this. It's pretty funny when people, and I saw people talking about it in the chat while we were recording this live. People talk about who's your favorite Holmes, and it's always, you know, Rathbone or Cumberpatch, you know, and I think all four of us are going to have a little part of us is like, man, that Ronald Howard, he was all right, yeah. You know,
he did all right.
And just like I think it was Professor Allen said, Ronald Howard was a good Holmes, and H. Marion Crawford was a great Watson. I think he's my favorite Watson, period, of all time. He's just a joy to watch. So, yeah, man, lots of emotions to bring this home, but man, at least we're all happy we did it, right?
Absolutely. Jared, we gotta rate it, right? Like we rated the end of the Flash Gordon run. We've got to rate it.
Let's rate it.
Oh, okay.
Let's rate the overall experience of the 1954 Sherlock Holmes. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do just for you guys. We don't do halvesies. I'm not going to allow that. But instead of 1 to 5, we'll do 1 to 10. Wink. See what I did there? By the way, those of you who can't, you might need to edit this out, but those of you who aren't watching this on the live stream are missing Auburn Elvis's wonderful memory lanes in the chat.
I was laughing at him too.
He's got a lot of very
on the first floor. You don't need to not to gather the show.
There's a lot of pointed jokes about specific moments in the show. Yeah. It's very good. But yes, let's give them a rate. Let's rate the sucker on a scale of 1 to 10. Looking back on your journey, 1954 Sherlock Holmes. Maybe not the journey, because the nostalgia, we're all going to give it a 10. How did you rate this television program? Scale of 1 to 10. Jason, we'll start with you.
I was afraid you were going to start with me. Holy cow. So now I got to kick it off.
Yeah, if it makes you feel better.
What's the matter, Jason? Cat's got your tongue?
Oh, I'm probably going to give it a 10. Jason.
He said it. It was a fun with cat in it.
Cat's got
Yes. Oh, my goodness. Okay. If it was a nostalgia factor, of course, it would be a 10. Just for the reasons I've already brought up. I think just as far as the Longbox network is concerned, this has been probably one of the critical. Kathy hasn't watched it. Oh my goodness. As far as the Sherlock Holmes series is concerned, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go humor, heart, spectacle, and art, because that's if I got to break it down. Humor, yeah, it'll get the full marks. It's going to get a 10 out of 10 for humor. There's just so much good, I mean, real laughs throughout this series. Heart, I think I would give that probably about a 9, just because I'm comparing it to source material, right? Is it like spot on with the source material, with the books, with Sir Arthur Conan Doyle? Probably not. There's definitely its own unique flavor, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. So I'm just gonna give that a 9. Spectacle, it's a 40 show, so you can only do so much. But I think with what they had at the time and how it was still engaging visually, the sets and everything else, I'd give that a solid 8. I would give that an 8. I mean, just factoring in the time. And then art, like I said, it's its own flavor. So I would say art, I'd give that a 9. So do the math. I see Jared doing math for me. What does that come out to be?
You have a total of 34 divided by 4 categories gives you a 9.
Okay, 9.
No need to round it or anything.
9 for me then. There we go.
I was betting in my head that he was not keeping up with the numbers and was completely content to just let him try on the vibe.
No, I started to, but Jared had that look,
Yeah, I was over here doing the math. I was keeping track.
You know why? Because
I misspoke. It was 36 because 36 divided by 4 is a 9. Jason gave it a 9.
Okay, I give it a 9.
Here on Saturday Matinee Theater, we do the math for you.
We kind of do the math.
Laurel, what did I give it?
So Jason gave it a 9.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. Pat.
Well, I have a different scale than he has. And I'm giving it, oh boy, I'm torn between an 8 and a 9. If I could do halfsies.
Come on, I already gave you like the halvesies for you.
You doubled the score points and he still wants halvesies.
Oh boy. I think overall it's the nostalgia wants me to go high. I'd give it a 10 just for the fun that I had. But just watching it, I'd give it an 8. I think it deserves it. All 39 episodes put together, to see the cast, their growth in their skills go together, and the cast of the extras, Eugene Decker, man, you got to give that guy some creds.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just that's a supporting cast guy that, man, he did a great super job. So I'm at a high 8.
High 8.
High 8. Okay.
Love it. In the chat, Chola says it's a solid 8, and then she said if you watch and listen to the podcast, then it gets to a 9, which makes me feel really good inside. Oh, Delvin.
I actually agree with Chola. Like, if you hadn't given it a 10 scale, I was going to give it a 4. It would have been like that strong 4, like you're flexing. So like if I double that, it's an 8, and I think an 8's a very good place for it to land. Where like an 8 means if you're just randomly just sitting there in some public space and you just happen to hear someone happen to mention something about this, like, oh, I watched that series, or if they were debating watching, it's like, oh yeah, you absolutely should watch it. If you pick any episode of the 39, at a minimum, you're going to be like, that wasn't a waste of my time. So that's a good mark to start with, I think. And then some of the best ones, like every time I think of a best one, I think of either Eugene Decker's, or I think of that mystery where the dude had the bodies in the stairs, where it's just like, oh. So there were, but there are others too, like when they went to Paris, and just I could go on. None of the shows were a waste of time. at all, ever. And if that is the watermark for a show, especially from a show that a lot of people like me, if I'm thinking of a show that is going on 70 years old now, I'm like, oh, this is old. I'm not going to like it. No, wrong again. I did like it. I enjoyed it a lot. And so that is a good sign. It gets an 8 from me.
Love it. There are just a handful of shows out there that I think are perfect for a rainy day, stormy night, or a snowstorm. You just want to kind of hunker down on the couch, be under a blanket, and feel absolutely comfortable. And this is one of those shows for me. Is an absolute 10. I will go back to it over and over again in those moments. It's comfort show for me. To this day, I tend to go to sleep at night listening to TV shows, and it's generally either a Mystery Science Theater episode, an episode of Dr. Katz, which I'm going to figure out a way to podcast on at some point, or one of these Holmeses. I just close my eyes and I imagine the story playing around me and I drift off to sleep. So it's an absolute 10. I love it. It is a comfort show for me. Right up there with Airwolf, as Kathy mentioned in the chat.
That's some high praise.
Yes, indeed. All right. So those are our. I think that's Night Rider. There you go. Okay, there we go. All right. Well, that has been a blast. Thanks for going down memory lane with us, everybody. Man, as you can tell, we got a lot of good feels for this show. If you want to call in and let your voice be heard, you can call us at 707-532-5269 or 707-532-LBOX. Pick up the phone.
Pick up that phone, baby.
And with that, hand it over to Jason. He's got some new stuff to read in his section. It doesn't happen a lot there. He gets new stuff, but he's got.
Man, I'm coming in cold too. What happened? Time just flew, man. It feels like I just got here. Let's see here. Well, that's it for this episode of Saturday Matinee Theater. If you'd like to hear more from us in the realm of comic books, check out the Longbox Crusade. Pat, where can they find that?
Well, Jason, I am glad you asked. You can find us on iTunes, Google Play, and most podcatchers, or at www.longboxcrusade.com. You want me to redo that one? Okay. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and most podcatchers, or at www.longboxcrusade.com. We're also on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, all at Longbox Crusade. Back to you, Jason.
Thank you, Pat. And if you want to hear from us on our track through all the James Bond films and James Bond materials, check out On Her Majesty's Secret Podcast. Jared, where can they find that?
Well, Jason, I'm glad you asked. You can find On Her Majesty's Secret Podcast on your favorite podcatcher. You can check us out at Secret Pod, because it's the Podbean that throws me off. secretpodcast.podbean.com. Or of course you can chat with us on Twitter at OHMSPod.
Thank you, Jared. And if you'd like to chat with us online, we can be found at Delvin. Kick us off.
I can be found on Twitter at DEE_RAY1977. What about you, Pat?
Well, Delvin, I'm glad you asked. You can find me on the Twitter at Christatos01. Jared?
I am at Yard Sale Artist. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. It's all at Yard Sale Artist. You can check out my artwares at www.theyardsaleartist.com. And I have plenty of Sherlock Holmes offerings, but I just now realized I don't have the Ronald Howard and H. Ray Crawford Holmes Watson duo. I've got a lot of Holmes Watson duos, but I don't have that
son
one.
Of a bitch.
I guess I better get cracking.
You know which one would be a good one? You know which one would be a good one?
Which one?
Is in the title sequence that they do, or at the end, they have like their shadowy kind of ones,
cartoony silhouettes that they do.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. I like that. It's easy to do, Pat. Good idea. Back to Jason.
Well, you can find me at Weasel Skull on Twitter and Jason Albrick on Facebook and Instagram. And thank you all for joining us for this episode of Saturday Matinee Theater. Get your quiver filled with arrows and get ready to fight against taxation, because our next episode will begin our journey through the 1955 adventures of Robin Hood, the TV series. We'll see you next episode for episode 1, The Coming of Robin Hood. And I'm admonished not to giggle here, so no giggling. No giggling.
What about penetration?
Jason doesn't know about the penetration test. He wasn't here for that part.
It still made him laugh.
All right. The meetup location, HR office, apparently. No, Sherwood Forest. Meetup location is Sherwood Forest. Be there or be square.
And we are out. Thanks, everybody, for taking that journey with us. Auburn Elvis says he has a Goldfinger trivia question for Jason and I, so you can drop that if you'd like.
Oh, okay.
Other than that, we are done here, folks. Thank you for being here. Please give us a like on whatever you're watching this on. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. And we'll anxiously await our trivia question from Auburn Elvis.
Just waiting for that trivia question. What color was Jill Masterson's bathing suit?
I wasn't looking at her. That's a good question. I was not even looking. That's a great question because ain't nobody looking at that.
Courtney Holmes says it's black.
I'm ready to believe her.
All right.
I was looking at all the anyways.
Bits and pieces.
All the small things.
And she was right. It's a black bathing suit. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. According to Auburn Elvis in the chat, it is black. So technically you didn't get us. We got it right, Auburn Elvis. So
Takes a
little help. A little help. Again, thanks everybody for being here. We're gonna take off. We'll catch you next month. We'll probably do a live recording of something or other. If you're gonna be at the Heroes Con, come check us out. Mostly these cats hang out around my table, so I'll see you then. Other than that, I guess we should act froze, huh? Oh wait, no, don't act froze. We have 2 things to give away. 2 giveaways.
I
almost forgot to
give away now.
All right,
don't leave yet, folks. Stay tuned.
Let's see if we can give. We got 2 more things to give away. Delvin, on your list, what do you got? 10, 11? Because Ryan came in.
Ryan Daly came. Yep, I got 11 now.
All right. Well, put a you know what to do. Magic
Got
spot.
it.
Jason, number between 1 and 11. Go.
7. 007.
That would be Tony P. Tony Pennington.
P. You just won a DVD that has 6 of the episodes from the 1954 Sherlock Holmes on it.
What you got? You got to give it to a Tony.
We're giving it to Tony. Those DVDs are yours, sir.
It's a DVD, not a My Little Pony.
And we're gonna go to the pulling up the Patreon right now. Patreon is a site that runs a little slower than most. This time it's not my computer, Courtney. It's Patreon just kind of runs slow. At least it always does for me. Does it run slow for you too, Pat? Like just a little slower than most of
a little slower though, yeah, to go through. But I want to also mention out on the Facebook. We got Jason Lady. Hey, lady.
What up, Jason Lady?
On the Facebook side.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was gonna make a joke with you guys, like when I came on. It's like, yeah, I don't appreciate y'all doing that live stream with your little lady friend.
Dude looks like a lady.
All right. We currently have 35 active Patreon members in our Crusaders Club. We're always looking for more. So we definitely encourage you to check out patreon.com/Longbox Crusade. One of the benefits you get is you don't need to be present to win. You don't have to join the chats, although we prefer you to join the chats. We had a lot of club members in our chats today, so we really appreciate you pulling double duty on that. I will put the cursor in a random spot, and then Delvin, you give me a number somewhere between 1 and 35.
Let's go easy. 3.
3. 1, 2, 3. Congratulations to Joe Thomas. Joe November wins the wins the hardback.
He gets half of that.
That's funny. He gets the hardback Great Cases of Sherlock Holmes book. Very classy, very nice. That'll be for Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
There we go. Thanks for being a Crusaders Club member, Joe. And this is June, which means I got to put together the Crusaders Club gift boxes for everybody who's at $5 or more on our donations. So I'll be sending those out soon. Those of you who are in that club, look for your prize packages within the next few weeks. Because like I said, I'll put those together. I'll probably do them after I get back from Heroes Con. I might get them done before I leave, but more than likely afterwards. So you guys should be receiving them in July. Thanks again for being Crusaders Club members. That's for the $5 and $10 levels. We send you all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for doing that.
It's been 6 years, guys.
6 years. Yeah, we just celebrated the 6th anniversary
of LBC.
Of LBC.
Crazy.
That's 1 year more than the Enterprise's original 5-year mission.
That's right.
We've done an Enterprise mission +1.
We've definitely gone where no one has gone before.
Probably where no one should have gone to begin with.
Oh, so yeah, I'll tell the story for anybody who's still hanging around. This is, and I may tell it on our first recording for Adventures of Robin Hood. But this is why voting matters, apparently. So I don't remember what Robin Hood was in like a dead heated tie with between the votes on Twitter and the votes on.
Was it like a Twilight Zone?
Was it might have been Twilight Zone? I can't remember. I think it might have been. But it was in a dead tie with something else when we were threw out to the voters. Hey, what should the next show be after we end Holmes? And it was just this dead heat. I think it was Twilight Zone, between Twilight Zone and Robin Hood. And I was looking at that and I said, who loves Saturday matinee theater more than anybody? And he was on earlier. Jason, you missed him, but Dave was on for a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed Dave.
So Dave is like he said in his video, he's like the SMT #1 fan, and I don't think we can argue with him on that. So I called Dave up and I was like, hey, Dave, have you voted on the Patreon poll for the next TV show? And he said, no, he was actually at work. He's like, no, I've been at work. And I was like, man, well, the poll's going to close in like an hour. I said, I didn't tell him what the results were, but I knew it was down between Twilight Zone and Robin Hood. I was like, would you have a passionate feeling either way about Twilight Zone or Robin Hood? And he was like, oh, Robin Hood all the way. And I was like, then you need to go vote, because your vote will be the deciding vote for what we did. So he actually got on his phone, logged in and went and voted. And that's how we got Robin Hood. Basically, it all came down to Dave's decision in the background.
The swing vote.
He was definitely the swing vote. So
what you're saying is Dave decided to
come down on it.
I was gonna go for pick up the phone, but
okay.
I mean that works
it was
too.
Dave, so I immediately went to come down on it.
Fair, understandable.
Dave decided not to negotiate, just to be merciless.
I'm Dave the decider, not the negotiator.
So that's how it all came down. It was very, very close. We still have a lot of cool serials and shows in our hip pocket for when these run out. So we'll always toss up 4 new options. I'll always try to get everybody to vote for the Zorro serial that nobody ever votes for.
I know.
Maybe someday.
There's so many good ones that are out there that, to me, I'm kind of glad that we put it up to the listeners, because otherwise it's a Sophie's choice for me.
Yeah,
it really.
That's what makes it fun. Is what is picked, and then it's like, okay, let's do this and have. I just know whatever we're gonna watch, we're gonna have fun with it. So.
Yep, absolutely. And then so we'll be getting back with you guys again soon, because we're gonna be running out of Batmans before you know it, and we'll be picking a new serial there.
Yeah, Batman's running out of runway quick.
So always something to keep you guys engaged. We appreciate each and every one of you. Is the time Knack froze for real now?
Sure.
Think so.
Let's do it.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for being here. We're going to be froze.